This is Ariana, my daughter. She's 4 years old, vibrant, full of life, ready to overcome the world. In order for her to grow into a mature adult with a high IQ, in order for her to build big things that can change the world tomorrow, to have profound, meaningful relationships, she needs security. Security is an essential component of child development, which is often threatened by traumatic life events like accidents, disease, and sexual abuse. As was the case for Rita, a 3-year-old girl I met coming out of theater after vaginal reconstructive surgery. In Zambia, by the time girls are 14 years old, 15% of them would have already experienced sexual intercourse. With these statistics, it means that each one of us in this room know at least one person who has experienced child sexual abuse. It also means that a significant number of women in this room are victims of child sexual abuse. What I'm saying is sensitive, but these are conversations we cannot avoid to have because child sexual abuse has been directly implicated in causing mental health problems such as depression, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, sexual difficulties, addictions. It has also been implicated in social problems such as stammering, bullying, bedwetting, teenage pregnancy, and for some children, frequent asthmatic attacks and allergies. And when we talk about physical problems, our discussion is not complete without referring to HIV in a country like Zambia with a 12% prevalence in the population. So, what is child sexual abuse? Child sexual abuse refers to involvement of children in sexual activity that can be penetration of the penetration of the vagina, the anus, or the mouth with the penis or fingers or objects. It also refers to non-penetrative acts such as fondling with or without clothes on, allowing children to observe sexual activity, or allowing them to watch pornography. Emerging research is now talking about what we can refer to as non-contact sexual abuse, which involves text messages, social media usage, and internet. Of prime importance is the fact that the child is unable to give consent because they are a child. In 2017, 2,279 cases of child sexual abuse were reported at the Zambia Police Headquarters. A year later, 2,578 cases were reported. And we all know that this information is only showing us the tip of the iceberg. We actually have a heart-wrenching term for child sexual abuse in Zambia. We call it defilement. So, who are these people who are hurting our children? Who are these mean people out there harming our next generation? In 2015, I did a study at the Child Sexual Abuse Center at the University Teaching Hospital. And one of the findings was that all the perpetrators were male. Only 6% were strangers. 13% were unknown. In case you have missed the point, here is the bad news. They live among us. in this room. Neighbors, uncles, boyfriends. Scary thought, right? That's the idea. That we stop thinking that the harm is out there somewhere, but right here within our communities, because this is the strength that this horrible vice is using. And the fight against child sexual abuse sometimes feels so overwhelming, like we can never win it. Recently, I watched a movie entitled Justice League. Yes. And they had this huge villain that was terrorizing everybody, and the superheroes got together to overcome this villain. And just before they entered the room where this villain was terrorizing people, one of the superheroes there, a character called Flash, was terrified. And he said he couldn't go in there. He said, I think it's great if you guys do battle, but I don't do this kind of thing. I just move around things really fast and run away. And Batman looked at him and said, save one. And then he said, which one? He said, just save one. He said, then what? He said, then you can go. So he went into that room with all the superheroes, and while they were fighting, he saved one. And when he saved one, he realized he could save another one. And slowly, a crowd began to form. Here's my idea of how each of us can participate in saving one. I'd like us to focus on 3 environments. The first one is the home. We have to teach our children that private parts are private, not to be touched or viewed by anyone else. And that also means that we should not normalize nudity around them. We need to be dressed and covered in front of them. We should be wary of play dates, especially sleepovers. Encourage children to play in open spaces rather than bedrooms. We also need to be wary of male guests around the house, male visitors. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not even the guests. We need to teach our children what to do in times of trouble so that they know how to reach out for help. We need to show our children what love is. Hug them, make them feel secure so that they too may know that there is no place for intimidation in a loving relationship. The second environment is the school. I think it should be in our curriculum. Our children should be equipped with this knowledge. Every school should have accessible information about what child sexual abuse is and how children can get help. And for those that can't read, would like that information to be present in pictures. Teachers too must know what resources are out there, how to connect pupils and students to support systems outside. Remember, abuse can come from home or from the institution. And schools also need to be wary of activities and sports that involve changing clothes. The third environment is the community. For a country like Zambia, the church is the biggest. What are we talking about there? In boys' brigade, girls' brigade, women's league, men's fellowship, what kind of conversations are we having there? The church has certainly not been spared. What about other social groupings? Rotary, Lions. Those are all fora that we could use. The Nachimbusas and Shibukombes. That curriculum needs to be revised. And now we have a new platform, social media. A lot of young people are there, and older people too. That's a platform we could use to fight against this vice, to spread information out there and equip people to fight against this. And if each of us are doing our part to focus on one and saving one, slowly we can form a small crowd. But what if sexual abuse happens? What do you do? Report it. Don't hide it. Remember, you or your child can heal. You need support. Get it. And nowadays, we also have a toll-free line, 116. Children can call and get counseling. But remember, hiding it only protects the perpetrator. So, to end my discussion today, I have 3 things I'd like to leave with you. Firstly, child sexual abuse negatively affects child development. That means it affects the caliber of our population, something we cannot afford in a developing country like Zambia. Secondly, child sexual abuse is a crime and a public health problem that we cannot let the police alone fight. We need to be having these conversations. We need to do something about it. We need to change the way we interact with our children and with different people in society. And thirdly, security is something we can gift our generation tomorrow with. Men who would like you to lead this fight, we need to beat this plight because security is a basic human right. Thank you.